Hi guys, it's your girl qochemist and I'm hopping on camera to do a quick, tutorial explaining how I got these cute little beads in my locks. So if you follow me on Instagram, then you know that I recently posted a few pictures with these beads in my hair, and I mentioned that I was watching or got the idea from watching a video by a YouTuber named curlynugrowth here on YouTube and on Instagram. She posted a video in which she showed, that she had a few locks that were adorned this way, and I thought they were super cute. And so I decided to try to do a DIY version of it. I will post the link below to her video in which, she has information on the individual who installed what I think she calls hair sprinkles in her locks. I think I was calling them lock sprinkles, but again, I did not come up with this idea originally, and this is my own DIY version. What I will say, what you will need for supplies is you will need, most importantly, seed beads. Fortunately for me, these were easy to come by because I am a crafter and I've made jewelry and all kinds of things over the years, so I had tons of seed beads, so that was not difficult to find. Secondly, you're going to need some type of a needle that will be able to easily go into your hair. You will be sewing these onto your locks. For those of you who are weirded out or freaked out about the potential of, damaging your hair, I've not seen any issues with it, but, proceed, with caution, proceed at your own, your own risk. Take your own risk. And decide for yourself if this is something you want to do. I'm not forcing you, okay? So I found these embroidery needles that are working for me. There's 16 of them. They are a size 8. I got them like at Walmart for about $2. Not promoting that, saying you have to use these. You could probably use a regular hand sewing needle, but these I found work for me. The next thing you're going to need is some type of thread. Again, I considered using actual sewing thread, but I thought it might not be easily concealed within the lock and that you might be able to see it. And I really wanted the focus to be on the beads. I wanted them to look like they are just kind of hanging out there on the lock with nothing else going on. So I decided to use, after much thought and research, I decided to use some old braiding hair that I had from when I had loose natural hair, which has been over 7 years. I had this up in the attic, and I have several colors, and I thought that's probably going to be the best thing to use as my thread. So when I am threading my needle, here is a threaded needle. I actually take a single strand of the hair and I fold it in half first. And then I take it, fold it in half, and thread it through the eye of the needle. And then I fold it, as it comes back down. Then you end up with like 4 strands hanging off the needle, and I knot it on the end. What that does is, because this is hair, technically synthetic, but still hair, it can snap and break as you are, doing the beading process. But if you have the 4 strands there, it's still thin enough to get it through the bead and then, through your hair without it being very obvious. But at the same time, if one of them should snap and break, you have like backup strands. So with that being said, I am going to come back ready to actually show you the beading process. So stay tuned. Okay, so let's begin the beading process. So as you can already see, I have my needle threaded with the braiding hair. And what I'm going to do is just go into the lock with that needle and braiding hair / thread, and just kind of anchor it into the lock before I start applying the seed beads. Then I'm going to grab the beads. I'm going to pour a few out. Because I was doing multiple colors, it didn't really matter. I just poured them out randomly. And you want to take one bead at a time and put it onto the tip of the needle, slide it down, and kind of get it up against the lock where you want to position it, and then you go in and you anchor it. Put a couple of other anchoring sews in, go back and forth a couple times just to make sure that's pretty secure, especially for that first bead. That's kind of your anchoring bead. And then you're going to go in with the next bead and you're going to come through and sew it through. This is really kind of like beading fabric, if you will. So if you've ever seen anyone bead fabric, then this should be an easy process for you. I do like to make sure that wherever my needle is coming through before I get the next bead, that is the position that I want the bead to be in. Like that's the location. Like I put some spacing between mine. So if you didn't want spacing between yours, then you'd want to make sure you came through the lock very close to the previous bead. Another thing I will say is make sure that prior to doing this process, you actually ensure that all of your beads will fit through the needle, because if not, it's going to be a very frustrating process. Okay, so once you've done putting in your final bead for that particular lock, then you want to go in and just do some anchoring by just going through and sewing with the thread / braiding hair down the lock, just to make sure that they really are secure. This has worked for me. I have not lost one bead. I even just washed my locks with the beads in, and they're still in my hair, so they will hold quite well. Alright guys, so that's pretty much how you do it. I hope that you found this video helpful. I hope that you will try this. If you do, please make sure that you tag me on Instagram, Facebook, all those social media places. This is a really fun style to wear. It's very eye-catching, fun for spring and summer. So yeah, please rate, comment, share, and like the video, please. Thanks.